In this video, we are reviewing My Brother's Keeper. Now, Nanda is furious at the fact that Fikile has alleged that the baby is not his. Of course, Nanda didn't have this information, and as the story goes on, she keeps alleging that Fikile is very angry with the Shabala's family. At some point, Nanda says that she doesn't entirely blame Fikile's reaction, because it seems like somehow the family has wronged her. She says that the family has done her dirty, and she understands where she's coming from and her point of view. Nanda goes on and on about how angry she is. So, Fikile reveals that the baby is not his. This is news to Nanda, and she cheers up, trying to celebrate. She says that she's thrilled to hear that the baby might not be Fikile's. Of course, Nanda gets started about Fikile's reaction. Hey, why are you so happy about the baby not being mine? It's obvious. I mean, Nanda doesn't have children, so when you don't have children and now you're hearing that your husband might be having a child with someone else, it's not nice. It's something that wouldn't be the greatest news in the world. So Nanda's reaction is understandable. She even says that, honestly, all along, she just didn't know that God can hear and answer people's prayers. She's grateful that God has been hearing her prayers and actually came through for her, as it seems she has been praying for this for quite some time. For the baby not to be Fikile's. Of course, just like what Fikile says, how am I out here pouring my heart out about how hurt I am that the baby isn't mine, and you're out here celebrating? She had a valid point. I think both of them are selfish. Nanda is upset for her own reasons, like watching her husband have a child and experience being a parent when she herself has never experienced it. It's not something that's just going to make her happy. On the other hand, Fikile just cares about himself and being a parent. She doesn't care how it may affect his wife, or how his wife may be impacted by the fact that she has never experienced parenthood. Now she just has to watch her husband being happy. These things affect you, and it's clear that it has affected her. At this point, I think both of them need to understand each other's feelings. They're not a team. They're not working toward the same goal. They're working in reverse. They're not working to achieve the same thing. But I cannot lie to you. The way Nanda was acting, girl, she was just so busy being happy and celebrating. It was like, who are you? Why am I here in pain? And you're enjoying this. It just doesn't make sense. Now, moving on, Fikile is now venting to her grandmother, saying that she's not well. This whole situation is not going well. She's worried that the Shabala's family will take the baby away from her. She even says that the baby doesn't have a father. She's the mother and the father of the baby. But the concerning thing is that the baby has been unwell. The baby has not been performing or doing well in general. Fikile's grandmother advises that maybe they can find a way for the Shabala's family to participate in the baby's life, so that the baby can be saved and talk, and they can bring justice for the baby. It's clear that the baby has been struggling to sleep and has been having trouble falling asleep. At the same time, Fikile admits that maybe her husband Manwood is the problem. He's been treating her badly, not being nice to her, and the list just goes on. Now, we see the Shabalas brothers. It seems like Olu is the one who called the meeting. Of course, Olu is concerned about the baby not being his. He's questioning his manhood and wonders if he might be the one at fault all along. His brothers try to reassure him, telling him not to think that way. They suggest that he go see a doctor to get things sorted. Olu is afraid to find out the truth. He feels like maybe he's not ready to know if he's the problem in his marriage. You know, one thing about men, they will try to shift the blame as long as they're not the ones blamed for anything. They're happy as long as it's not their fault. So Olu tries to avoid the DNA test. His brother Dumo suggests they try a traditional healer instead. But Olu doesn't agree. He feels like maybe they'll just have to wait for the DNA test results. It's like waiting for the unknown. Surprisingly, Olu decides to go ahead with the test. I was surprised. I thought he wasn't going to go through with it, but he did. For me, that was unexpected. Now, it's the day of the test results. Of course, Nanda, being a childless woman who's married, is insecure. She feels like if her husband is going to have a child with someone else, it's going to hurt. But she goes to the extreme and says things like she doesn't want the baby. She prays that the baby's not his, and if the baby is, the baby will never come to their house. Fikile, however, says that if the baby ever comes to their house, Nanda will be the one who leaves. I do sympathize with Nanda, considering the fact that she's childless. In her mind, she's fighting for her marriage. But her approach isn't right. The way she's handling it isn't something I'd recommend anyone do. Finally, the moment of truth has come. The test results are being announced. Fikile showed up and said, "I'm just here to make sure no one twists the results." She's determined to make sure everything goes as planned. The results came back positive and it shocked everyone. I strongly believe that the results were tampered with. There's no way they truly believe that the baby is Olu's. But Olu seems exposed now, as his manhood is in question. There's no way that baby is his. I believe the results were tampered with, and let me tell you, the excitement was real. Olu had prayed for this moment. He wanted to be a father for so long, but now that the truth is out, he'll be called names, and it's just a mess. I really sympathize with Nanda, even though she can come across as aggressive and rude. I understand her pain. Anyway, that's the end of the review. If you loved and enjoyed this review, give this video a huge thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one when I'll be bringing you more reviews. Please don't be afraid to comment down below and tell us which other shows you would love for us to review. Until then, stay blessed.